Two other developments. Deliberations have started in the bombshell sex trafficking trial for rapper and businessman Sean Diddy Combs. The jury, which consists of 8 men and 4 women, are weighing the charges which could put Combs in prison for life if he is found guilty. They'll be reviewing testimony from the last 7 weeks, including emotional and graphic testimony from Cassie Ventura, who was seen being beaten by Combs in the infamous hotel video. Let's now invite Eric Faddis, criminal defense attorney and former state felony prosecutor, in the conversation. Eric, good afternoon, and thank you for your time. What do you think must be going on in the jury room after such a graphic and emotional turnaround of things in the court?
You know, certainly a lot of the testimony was compelling and impactful, and they really have a Herculean effort in front of them because they've got to synthesize, 2 months of a trial, 34 witnesses, information from both the prosecution and defense, and then use the jury instructions, apply those to the facts, and render a conclusion. So a lot that they have to do. They're probably picking a foreman now and deciding sort of basic strategy in terms of an approach.
Can we talk about the process right now? We understand within 10 minutes of them deliberating, Eric, they sent out a note indicating that they had completed their first order of business, electing a foreman. What does that really indicate? What does that mean?
Sure. So that happens in every jury trial. And the foreperson is really at the helm of the ship. They are the leader of the deliberations. So they help coordinate things. They sort of ultimately decide, hey, what approach are we going to take to try and decide whether he's guilty of these 5 charges? They try to, encourage the other jurors to collaborate, to share their ideas. And the foreperson is really at the head of it all.
How much of the noise, the pressure, the interest on a story like that, after all, Sean Diddy Combs, as we know, has been a very, very successful musician too, but has these testimonies we've seen which have been very emotional and graphic. How much of all of this can really weigh on the jury's mind or influence their decision making?
Gus, it's a high-stakes trial as it is, just with the gravity of the charges. Then you add in sort of the national and international spotlight, not only on Diddy, but on the case itself and on what the decision these jurors are going to make is going to be. And so a lot of pressure on these folks. Sometimes back there they get worried about possible retaliation, public condemnation in terms of the verdict they ultimately render. And so certainly that's not going to be lost on them.
Eric, one last question. While, of course, the jury deliberates and they have to go through weeks and weeks of testimonies, the defense had time and again put forth an argument that the prosecutors are intruding in Combs' personal life and he has nothing to do with the warrants against him. How much of this argument really holds weight in this case, you think?
That'll ultimately be up to the jury. I thought the defense did an effective job in trying to say, hey, look, we don't want the government in our bedrooms. And Diddy may have done some shady stuff in his personal life, but that's not the same as, a bad boy lifestyle is not the same as a criminal lifestyle. And so that was really the theme of the defense's arguments. It cuts against a lot of the testimony from the prosecution. The jury is going to have to decide, hey, were these actual crimes or was this just sort of, personal conduct in the romantic arenas of an individual's personal life? That's going to be the question.
Eric Faddis, criminal defense attorney and former state felony prosecutor. I appreciate your insights, Eric. Thank you for joining us on CTV News Channel.
Good to be with you.